Obi seems to be poverty shaming the North, but is he? According to Farouk A. Berugi. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Please subscribe to our channel. In a series of tweets on April 18th, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi said, among other things, that he was committed to lifting people out of poverty, and I remain committed to transforming Nigeria, starting from the north to every part of the nation. This predictably rankled many Northerners, particularly Northern Muslims who understood the tweets as a backhanded stereotypical vilification of their region. Why did Obi isolate the North for special focus in a tweet about poverty and the transformation of Nigeria? Why was he region agnostic, that is, not single out any specific region for Nigeria for negative attention? Why did they come across as articulating the local and economic version of the 19th century racist European doctrine known as the white man burden, which basically asserted that the unexampled civilizational superiority of the white race imposed on them the moral duty to enlighten the backward and benighted non-white populations of the world? Obi's spotlights on the North is, of course, balanced on a thick thread of irrefutably solid statistical evidence. According to the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS), of the 133 million Nigerians who writhed in unspeakably stifling multidimensional poverty as of the end of last year, 86 million, which represents 65%, live in the North. The North constitutes 54% of Nigeria's population and 70% of its land mass. So, if the region makes up 65% of the nation's per population, there is clearly an imbalance. Given that context, it is reasonable that Obi chose to call the attention to the poverty in the North, as he had done many times in the past, and to invoke it as launching pad of his commitment to transform Nigeria. Had he spotlighted the South, he might also have been accused of regional self-centeredness. But to expect all Northerners to process Obi's message the way I've done is to have a limited understanding of human behaviors and motivations. You see, every region in Nigeria, as I've pointed out in the past, has its stereotypical vulnerabilities about which it is sensitive. From religious extremism to endemic child abandonment, from 419 email scams to baby factories, from child trafficking and prostitution in foreign lands to disabling alcoholism, from credit card scams to kidnapping, etc. Nigerians can and often do easily territorialize crimes and negative traits within their national space. These stereotypical territorializations of crimes and negative stereotypes are often considered offensive, when they are uttered by outsiders, but tolerated, sometimes praised, even when they're uttered by insiders. Many Northerners have called attention to the endemic poverty in the North and got praised for it. Sanusi Lamide Sanusi, for instance, has been brutal and unsparing when he calls attention to the poverty in the region and the culture that conduces to it. When he spoke at the 4th Kaduna Investment Summit on April 3, 2019, Aliko Dangote, the world's richest black person, who is incidentally a northern Nigerian, also said way worse things about poverty in the North than Obi could ever say. Nigeria is ranked at 157th out of 189 countries on the Human Development Index. While the overall socio-economic condition in the country is a cause for concern, the regional disparities are in fact very alarming, he said. In the northwestern and northeastern parts of Nigeria, more than 60% of the population lives in extreme poverty. No Northerner had a problem with Dangote for what he said. In fact, many Northerners lauded his forthrightness. Northerners are resentful of Obi's oblique references to the poverty in the North because he is an outsider, who is in addition resented for asking the church to take back his country and for characterizing the 2024 election as a religious war between Muslims and Christians. But Southerners are also hypersensitive to even the mildest references by outsiders to negative indices that are exclusive to them. For instance, in March 2015, Mrs. Aisha Buhari stirred up her honestness when, during a campaign speech in Benin City, she said the biggest problem confronting Nigeria's deep south were girl child trafficking and the mistreatment of widows. In each zone of a country, we have peculiar problems. Our problems differ, she said. For me, in this zone, girl trafficking should be considered one of our problems, though I know there is unemployment. There must be a cultural design that can accommodate the widow, and a design that will make a girl child feel comfortable wherever she is in the country. She doesn't need to leave the country to go and prostitute elsewhere. It is not her portion. Her portion is to have a highly standard moral society for her to live in, get married, have children, train them, and to support them to become the future of our leaders. Many southern Nigerians sided with the raw rage in the aftermath of Aisha's speech. They reviled, ridiculed, and besmirched the North in retaliation. They told her to first take the plank out of her north eye so she could see clearly to remove the speck from the south eye. Well, many Northerners are returning the favor to Obi. There is nothing in Obi's 8-year record as Anambra State to suggest that he can help people exit poverty. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics, which Charles Soludo referenced in the 2015 article, showed that Obi took Anambra from the most prosperous state in Nigeria to one of its poorest. In 2004, according to the NBS, poverty in Anambra was 20%, which was the lowest in the country at that time. By the end of Obi's term as governor of Anambra in 2010, poverty rose to 68%. His post-gubernatorial social media dedorization campaigns concealed this solid fact. It is easy to see why he impoverished the people of Anambra. He was by far the most virulently anti-worker governor, which makes his being a candidate of the Labour Party one of the biggest paradoxes of the 2023 election. He merged the school fees of 3 terms into one and required that they paid at once, which forced children from poor homes to drop out of school, refused to pay the minimum wage and fired workers who went on strike, caused patients to die in hospitals because doctors went on strike for 13 months over a demand for a 60% raise in their take-home pay, caused ASU at the then Anambra State University to go on strike for 6 months and fired the vice chancellor for supporting them. So if he could not transform Anambra, he could actually take the state from the least poor state in the country to one of its poorest until his successor reversed it. How could he possibly save the North from poverty? I think that is a legitimate query. Obi's other claim to machismo in governance is that he saved and left 75 billion naira in the coffers of Anambra State. However, his handpicked successor, Obi'S, said the claim was a hoax. The secretary to Anambra State's governor, who served in Obi'S administration, also said the 75 billion naira was not there. It was not handed over to anybody. Let's say, for the sake of argument, accept that Obi claims were genuine. But what is the sense in depriving workers of their just dues while saving money? Money has no value except what you make of it. There is no wisdom in being parsimonious while reliving people starve and sink to depths of poverty. Well, even if Obi has the capacity to leave Northerners out of poverty, he could do more with tact and discretion in saying this because people tend to take exception to be told home truths about themselves by outsiders. That is why, for instance, Black American hip-hop youths call themselves nigger, but we go to war if a white person as much says nig. I had an interesting conversation about this with my American students some years back. A white student wondered why American blacks call themselves the derogation name nigger and tolerate being told unpleasant things about their culture by black celebrities, but take offense when a white person does the same. A black student in the class gave a perfect analogy in response. He asked the white student if she ever fights with and insult her siblings, and she affirmed in the affirmative. He then asked her if she thought it would be okay for another person to fight with and insult her sibling just because she does the same. His point sank in. Farouk Parogi, you murdered this one. You exposed Omo. You try for this article. It opens the minds to more and educates more. Thank you. Okay, on this note, you have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.